Good morning, everybody. My name is David Purdy, and I'm here with some simple talking points, things that have been burning in my mind the last week or so. I've been doing a lot of research on um, Trump and a bunch of other stuff that's been happening in the political realm, and I found it all extremely interesting. I'm not much of a political guy. I like, I like guns, and I've got, very conservative views for the most part. But I've kind of stayed out of that realm. I just don't like it all that much. But there's a lot happening right now, and it's extremely interesting. And we've had so much happening the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's incredible, with media, with events, with Biden, Kamala. It's nuts. Anyway, anyway, I have a couple things here that I wanted to share with people, and this is my 2 cents. I guess take it or leave it. I just wanted to say something just because it's kind of been burning a hole in me, and I wanted to get it out a little bit. A couple of talking points or things that I wanted to mention in this video is one, there's been a lot of Christian people on the right and other things, and even on the left too, to some degree, who look at Trump, look at his personality, and to some degree, they don't want to vote for him just because of his personality type. I actually think most of you that would even listen to this aren't like that at all, but I'm just saying it because it's been something that I have seen in the fringes of our circles, I guess. And Trump definitely is not a perfect person. There's things I don't agree with him to some degree. He agrees for states' choices for abortions, and doesn't want to close the door completely to abortions. Obviously, I disagree with that. I saw a couple channels. I'm not going to mention them, but essentially what they said was, we should pick an alternative to Trump because of certain views and the way that the Republican Party is leaning. I would actually, in the past, I would have agreed with that, and I probably will agree with that in the future. I think it'd be an amazing idea to start a third party, a political party. You've got the Democrats, the Conservatives, you have the Independents too, but they're kind of pretty wishy-washy, and I actually have nothing against that, but I do feel like to some degree, from what I can see from Trump and his teams, that there's been a political takeover of the Republican Party, which has been great from Trump, and just out of pure um, competence, really, with what he's doing, with what his team's doing. And I did not agree at all with Bush. Bush was a globalist. Biden was a globalist. Even Ronald Reagan, even though he did some great stuff, Reagan actually had a great personality and had some great speeches. But if you look at his policies, a lot of them weren't all that great. He actually didn't really help the country as much as people might think. But Trump, even though he's somewhat in the same boat, he definitely has been obviously changing a lot. So the first one is look at his policy, look at Trump's policies. Don't look at his personality. That's like an emotional. It's a catering to the emotional bias. Um, but you're not going to get anyone. You're definitely not going to get anybody better right now, as far as who's going to lead this country in the right direction. And it's been amazing to watch. Please go watch the RNC. It was amazing. The speeches there, they were great. Secondly, pray, pray, pray. We need to be praying. 1 Timothy 2:1 and 2 says, "I exhort, therefore, that first of all supplications um, and giving of thanks be made for all men, for kings, and for all that are in authority, that we may lead quiet and peaceable lives." We really, especially right now, there's so much. I've watched hours and hours and hours of news of different, um, a bunch of different channels of people that I think are cohesive, and I've thought it all through myself, and this seems to make the most sense of where I've been moving. But God really is doing a lot right now with Trump. Um, God uses imperfect people. I mean, He uses you if you're saved, and He uses me. So, but there is something very interesting happening right now on a spiritual note as well as a political note. It's been very interesting to watch, and I'm actually excited for the future. But we as Christians can't be pessimistic toward these things. So pray a lot. Like this whole political thing, the elections, everything. Sadly, we need to be praying about it all the time. But I'm in that same boat where I don't. And right, it's really brought the realization I need to pray more about the political realm. Third, obviously, go vote for Trump. Go listen, to the Republican National Convention. My favorite speeches were from Tucker Carlson and Trump. Trump wasn't, he didn't give an information full speech. Essentially, what he was giving with his hour and a half speech was giving his heart to the people, what he was thinking, he's giving his heart, really, is what he was doing. People criticize him, oh, you didn't have very much information. That's not what it was about. You can find that elsewhere. But his Tucker Carlson also gave a really good speech too. Tucker Carlson's a good guy. Another really cool thing that I've seen, I've said this before in the past, probably the last 6 or 7 months. I'm probably late to the curb, but I'm just starting to see it now in the news to some degree in certain outlets, private outlets. Is there's been a shift in news media to the private realm because of technology and the lack of support for big media. I think over Trump's presidency and into Biden's, there's been a fundamental shift of trustworthiness for mainstream media, which I totally agree with. They're pushing in the wrong direction completely. But technology has advanced enough now over the last 5 to 10 years. I think really the social media side has really vamped up its productivity in the news realm over the last really 5 years, probably like maybe even less than 3 years. For me, Jordan Peterson was the biggest boom. Jordan Peterson and the Daily Wire were probably the biggest signs of this. Was social media or news. You can get news now from private people that have investigative teams and that communicate and stuff like that. You don't have to rely on big media to get the connections that you're looking for. And I think that's taken a lot of power away from big companies, big mainstream news sources. And so what that's done is that's moved political ideologies in the right direction. For the most part, there's some horrific ones out there that I've seen, which is it's ludicrous, but it's moved fundamentally in the right direction. You've got the Tucker Carlson show. I really enjoyed that, actually. I've been enjoying that. Jordan Peterson, obviously, these guys you don't agree. There's a lot of things we don't necessarily agree on, but they are pointed in the right direction politically, and even with they're pointing society in the right direction. You have Tucker Carlson, Jordan Peterson, Daily Wire, Elon Musk. There's another one that came out with Elon Musk and Jordan Peterson that was pretty good. So these are all things that I found, especially in the news, that have really helped the population shift in the right direction. Was independent news sources, and really that's been given to us by the advancement of technology, which has been amazing. Now pretty much anyone can do exactly what I'm doing, and do better, and they can look just like professional news. Obviously, that's not me. So another big thing too is just make influence. Influence is so much. Make an impact. Make an influence. Let your voice be known with your conservative views, and do it lovingly, politely, and study seriously. Like you're gonna look like an idiot, and I've been in that boat too, where you look like an idiot because you haven't done your study. And anyway, they're really exciting times ahead of us. Good, bad, and ugly. The worst thing that could happen is some sort of civil war. That's quite frankly not a laughing matter. But if the left and deeper forces swing hard, it's going to get pretty messy, I think. And if hopefully where I see it going is Trump winning and other things. And I really do think God has that, even with looking at missions and what God's doing in missions around the world too. God, I think, is blessing America to some degree with using Trump concerning missions. There's a powder keg of missions that's slowly burning right now, and it's about, I think, to go off in a major way. And God's preparing the U.S., I think, economically for that as well. Again, it's my 2 cents. But anyway, you guys have a good day. This is just my 2 cents on some of the stuff that's happening. Have a good one.